you for joining us today. Right now, I am joined by Cindy. I'm so excited to have her share her story and experience and transformation with you all. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, will you just share with us who are you?
Okay, great. I am a 56-year-old mother of 3. I have 2 new grandsons. They're both under the age of 2, and that's been an exciting part of the last couple of years, those 2 little boys.
Oh.
I live in Texas. I am a pastor and a counselor, a writer, blogger, speaker, and have struggled most of my, I would say the last 7 to 10 years with weight issues. And part of that journey included a breast cancer diagnosis when I was 49 that ended up with me on medication after surgery and treatment and everything that blocked my hormones. So got to go into menopause really fast and artificially. And so that just seemed like that was the last straw in terms of metabolism and things like that. And so I'm happy to say now I'm off medication and back in the normal population in terms of cancer issues. And so just go once a year for screenings and that kind of thing. But I'm doing well in that regard.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Way to go, lady. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so would you mind sharing a little bit more about, weight struggles? Like what kind of things did you try? What was your experience like before keto?
Okay. I probably, like a lot of people, I tried everything, from Weight Watchers to Jenny Craig to, doing it on my own. I've been really diligent about exercise. And so that was never the hard part of it. And on every plan, it seems like I would lose some, and then it would just get to a really hard point, really stuck point. And it's almost like my body would just rebel. And I would either kind of get frustrated with the whole process and then, go back to normal, what I thought was normal eating, and then gain even more back. And so kind of the yo-yo thing was happening with me. And at the same time, as I mentioned, a lot of other things were changing with my body and my job and stress. And so it just seemed like I just couldn't figure it out, how to help myself. And so that was pretty frustrating. And then about a year and a half ago, I have one of my children, my middle son is a Texas high school football coach. So he's obviously really into nutrition and health and fitness and optimizing athletes' performance and all that. And so he started talking about keto and mentioned it in terms of the long-term health benefits and anti-cancer, anti-inflammation. My mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's 2 years ago. And so that's kind of in our family's mind, of course, in terms of genetics or prevention for the rest of us. And so that's when I first started to kind of looking into keto. And really, then I started trying it. And, but there's just so much information out there. I can read and I can digest a lot. You've got the whole internet. And so I did it the way I thought I should. I did the best I could, and it worked for a little bit. I lost some weight, and then I don't know, just something happened, and it kind of didn't. And then I gained, and then I'm like, I with my best, attention to this, if there's something, I'm not doing. And that's when I decided I need a helper. I need a coach. I need some outside, somebody to tell me, more specifically how to eat and how this works, which led me to you.
Yeah. Which I'm so happy to have helped you on this journey. So what was it like then, compared to you trying it on your own, when you started getting into the materials and how I teach you to do, how I taught you to do keto now?
Right. Well, really quickly you had the 10 rules, and they were not, I could already see like, okay, I haven't been doing these 10 things, many of them. And so, and already things, you know, there are things on your rules, on those rules that were, seemed, if you looked elsewhere, would be keto friendly,
Mm-hmm.
like nuts, or, you know, having, I guess some sugar, or anyway. And so really quickly I could see like, oh yeah, she's saying no nuts, no sweeteners, even diet. Every afternoon I was having my handful of almonds and my diet Dr. Pepper, thinking I was being all right, doing okay. And what I can see now is I was just sort of hurting myself on and on. And I never had really calculated my macros or tracked. And so the things that were clearly outlined, just, you know, these are your rules, that was really helpful to me. I was like, okay, I might not love all these rules, but I can do rules. And so I had to have a little time in there. It was maybe like 2 to 3 weeks where I felt like it was almost like grief. Like I just had to say, okay, you know, you're not going to have a glass of wine now, and, you know, no, mashed potatoes are not in the future, you know, like just be sad a little while about what I was giving up, and then just go ahead and do it. And then for me, luckily along the way, all of the materials were teaching me the science behind it. And so then I started to understand, where in my previous life, oh, you have a couple slices of pizza, you know, that was just a rough day. Now I understand, no, that's throwing everything off for a long time, and it's hard to get back. So a cheat changed for me from a cheat just to myself to I understood it as a whole upsetting of the cart, and I didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
And so some of those things really just set quickly and well with me.
That's so great. I was going to ask about, you know, did you go into it seeing those 10 rules and have a lot of skepticism about like, well, why this, you know, why is she making these rules? They seem arbitrary, but like you explained, once you started to get the behind the scenes, like why, I promised you, every one of the rules has at least 3 reasons why they're there to propel your success. And that's exactly what you're sharing, is that you got what was promised.
Right. Oh, totally. 100%, in a way that I could really apply to my life, you know? And so that's when it didn't take long for me to say, okay, these rules are here for a reason. You know, like the no recipe one was a little bit hard, and then it made sense, especially because along the way I'd been trying some things, and it was just like you said, you can make this whole keto friendly recipe and get to eat a half a cup or something by the time you really calculate it. And so all of that actually ended up being freeing. Like, okay, I don't have to find a recipe. I don't have to spend a lot of time on meals. I'm going to eat this food, and that's it. And then, of course, you know, once I was in ketosis, which was pretty quickly, the magic of that started kicking in, with the lack of appetite and feeling good and energy increase. And so, you know, and I think I told you along the way, I was like, I don't know why everybody's not talking about this, because it is so amazing that you can naturally not be not be driven by hunger.
Yeah.
And kind of understanding I was just eating the wrong things. It was carbs and sweeteners and all that was driving that I need more feeling. So I just, you know, once that happened, I didn't want to be out of ketosis.
Yeah.
You know?
So it sounds like it was empowering rather than feeling deprivation.
Right. At some point it switched. At the beginning it was a little like, oh no, you know, but at some point it really did switch to become empowering. And I saw the results, you know, like I said, when your appetite goes away and you're feeling peaceful and happy and energetic, you can tell something's working.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned results. What kind of results did you experience during the time that we worked together?
I lost to date 23 pounds, probably during the program, like about right at 20.
Okay.
amazing. And again, we have to say that was not something I was able to do on my own. And even with those other programs, you know, I might have lost some, but to lose 20 for me in a few weeks was amazing. And along with that, I was losing inches, and then again, not feeling deprived and not feeling hungry.
Wonderful. What other things did you experience? Like, you know, other symptom relief in your body, mental clarity, you know, energy, what else?
Well, and because we had talked at the beginning, I immediately started changing around some supplements. And, you know, one of the things you told me early on was, oh my goodness, you've been doing everything right, trying to do everything right that everyone else had taught me or that I'd read somewhere. You know, for example, I was drinking tons of water, believing I should. And you said, why? And I said, because I thought that's what everything about weight loss and health said. And I really think I was drinking way too much water. So I was able to kind of back off on that. That felt freeing. And then some of the supplements I was taking were not the right ones. Switched some of that around. I was on an antacid over the counter and had been for years, and nobody had ever told me until you that, you know, that was blocking mineral absorption in my stomach probably. I thought I needed it. And turns out with higher fat, you kind of don't. I got off of that. I got off of daily allergy medicine. And then amazingly, I had been on high blood pressure medication for 10 years, sort of hereditary in my family. And you told me at the beginning to monitor that because it might go down, and you didn't want me to be taking medication and get too low. And so I had been monitoring it, and then it, sure enough, at the beginning it went a little high. Then I kind of stayed steady through that, but then one day it went low, and I actually forgot to take a blood pressure pill one day, and monitored it. It was super low. Next morning, I took it again in case I needed to take my pill, still super low. That went on for about 2 days when I finally called the doctors, like, I need to come in. Went in, told him, haven't had my blood pressure medicine in about 3 days. And he said, well, shame on you. And I said, no, look at these readings. And that's when he really looked at me. I said, what are you doing? What is happening? And so I started talking to him about how I was eating and the weight loss, and he said, you know, you're right, you don't need medication. And so that was a great surprise for me after all that time to be able to get off of that. So.
Oh, that's so great. All of those things are, and you can probably remember when we first talked, I told you all those things were going to happen, and were you skeptical? Like, no, this is a family genetic thing, high blood pressure. This isn't going to change.
Well, I think probably I didn't believe that part because, you know, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
That's a big thing to change. And so, you know, it was a surprise to me.
Yeah. And then I can imagine when your doctor asked, what are you doing? You said, I'm eating lots of fat and lots of salt. Did he say, no, you're not?
I really didn't accentuate the salt part. And that's another part I really did not believe at the beginning. And I had to get past believing that I was hurting myself with the salt. And I live in Texas in a really hot, humid climate. And now it's summer. So I've even had to increase the salt more. And so again, look at that. I'm eating salt, and yet I'm off blood pressure medication.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yay.
Yeah.
Cindy, I'm so happy for you and your transformation, and it's exciting for you. And it's interesting is that this is typical results from people that have gone through a program. So that's why I know in the very beginning when people have these things going on, I know what's going to happen, and everybody's a little skeptical, and it's wonderful. So I really appreciate you sharing this with everyone.
Thank you. And the program really did make it easy. It was easy to follow. It was interesting and informative. And if I just did, you know, as prescribed, it was easy to apply.
Yeah. That's wonderful. So what's your outlook going forward? Like what, compared to other diets you followed in the past, like what's your confidence level with sustaining keto?
It's really high. I somewhere along the way, a strange thing happened where I even started visualizing like the holidays.
Mm.
Like, I think I can eat, turkey and vegetables and be fine. Uh, and so I started projecting myself in the future that way. And then I think some of your teaching talked about, can you just picture yourself as, someone on keto, that like a vegetarian who says unapologetically, I'm a vegetarian, this is how I eat. And that really stuck with me. Like, I think I can. And I think I see the long-term benefits. I've had breast cancer, and so I don't want to go back to any of that. So I, have huge reasons just to unapologetically eat this way. And that's how I really picture myself now. If I'm going to a restaurant or an event, I look at the menu ahead of time and kind of think about what I'm going to eat. And I get excited about it. Like, okay, that's going to be great. My husband and I went out for our anniversary last night and went to a really nice steak place, and I enjoyed every bite, of what I chose to eat, and none of it was off the plan. And I think, so I think once you kind of figure it out, it's sort of freeing in that way. And I've even been invited to social situations where I now will say to the person hosting, I'm on an eating plan, and I don't like to make a big deal of it, but I pretty much need protein and vegetables, and they're great about it. People understand, and I think other people are not afraid to say what their dietary needs are, and so I'm learning. I have some.
Yeah. Oh, so empowering and freeing. You keep saying freeing too. That's wonderful. Yeah.
And then I do look at other people who maybe are complaining about joint pain or this or that, or weight gain or fatigue, and in my brain I'm just thinking, I know what could help you, and sometimes I'll say, or I'll share what's going on with me. Now I'm getting to the point where people will ask me what I'm doing because they can see the difference, and I'm still on the journey. I still have weight I want to lose. But it also seems like there's a part of you that knows, like, okay, there's a secret here that could help a lot of people. And like it's helped me. And that's why I'm excited about this, about just being a part of, if this can help other people to feel good and live longer and avoid diseases and lose weight, then I'd like to help. So I've kind of become, a keto proponent, a quiet one, because no one ever likes somebody who's saying, oh, you really shouldn't eat that. But I'm kind of thinking it sometimes with people, especially as they're telling you their struggles, and then you're looking at what they're putting in their mouth. And so
yeah. Well, great. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Was there anything else that you were hoping to share before we wrap this up? Or?
No, I think another huge part, though, of the program was just the emotional support, being able to talk to other people through the phone call meetings, and on Facebook, just as we all went along, to be able to say to a group, hey, has anybody noticed this, or have you tried this, was just really helpful. It's a lot different than just trying to do something on your own. So that was really helpful, and the emotional lowering stress pieces, the visualization pieces really helped.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and congratulations on your transformation, and the best of, I want to wish you luck in your future. Seems like we're never going to talk to each other again, but I'm looking forward to continuing to see your keto journey and all the other things that get better, because I know that, just like for myself, the longer you do this, the more things that come up on your list of all these things that get better that you just didn't even know could get better.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
yeah, I look forward to continuing on your journey with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks again, Cindy. Thank you all for watching. That's all for now. Bye.